Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Teresa Holmes, Club President of the Rotary Club of Madison. Today's meeting is sponsored by Rob Stroud and Joe Bartow of Stroud, Lernick, and Howard. Our thanks for your sponsorship of today's luncheon. Let's direct our attention to today's opening music. Dick Lovell will be leading us in the singing of My Country 'Tis of Thee with Casey Oakers on the keyboard. Following our music, our guest will be introduced by Rhonda Adams.
With masks on, please, let's sing our patriotic song. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Be seated, please. Thank you. And we have kind of a feature song today. It's actually a rehearsal, so please listen for a second, and then we'll do our little rehearsal. Our song today is Happy Birthday by the incomparable Stevie Wonder. And a little secret is that one reason we're doing it is the song is loved so dearly by President Teresa, whose birthday is tomorrow. So we're going to rehearse it now, and then we'll come back up and sing it zestily at birthday time to honor Teresa and all our other celebrants. Stevie Wonder wrote this song in 1981 as part of his support of making Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a national holiday. It's become popular among black families across the nation and more broadly popular. When I ask my Latina teenage daughter, have you ever heard of this song? She sung the chorus right back to me, just like we're going to sing it now. So let's try it on a rehearsal basis, and then we'll sing it again at birthday time. Casey. Okay, here we go. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday, Rotarians. Oh, I need to rehearse too. Thank you. Good job.
A big welcome to today's guests. Please stand when I call your name and remain standing so that we can recognize you as a group. Lynn Perez Hewitt, guest of Michelle McGrath. She is the District Public Image Chair. Ed Futa. Dora Zuniga from Tampa, Florida. And all the way from Bangkok, Thailand, we have Sopita Tachamani Satit. And then we have her daughter, Soft Liam Paisan.
Well, thank you, Rhonda and Dick and Casey. I think I'll join you when we sing happy birthday to all of us. And welcome to our district and international and former Rotary of Madison Club member, Dora, and other guests. We're glad to have you here today. Next week, I will be providing some information from the podium regarding a few of you have been asking, or I should say many of you have been asking, where is Rotary in the Afghan refugee situation? So I'll be providing next week a little bit of information regarding our district's foundation opportunity for that, and some ways that you can partner in service with regard to that situation. We have new members to introduce. 4 new members who are joining our club today. All right, we will start with Calvin Barrett. Would you please stand? Along with your sponsor, Ron Luskin. Sheriff Calvin Barrett has been loaned the classification of government local and currently serves as our county sheriff. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, and now he makes his home in Sun Prairie with his wife, Kate, and their 2 daughters. Calvin holds a bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of Wisconsin-Madison and a master's degree in criminal justice from American Public University. He currently serves on the board of directors for Tellurian, Inc., and is a past board member of the Sunshine Place in Sun Prairie. He also volunteers for the Urban League, Young Professionals, and the 100 Black Men of Madison. Calvin is a member of the Badger State Sheriff's Association, Major County Sheriff's Association, and the National Sheriff's Association. Say that really fast. Not me. He enjoys spending time with his family, fishing, and engaging in community service activities. Please remain standing. And actually, thanks for being a social media poster. Yeah, where do you find the time, right? All right, please remain standing. And Alan Klugman, would you please stand? And your sponsor also is Ron Luskin. Alan has been loaned the classification of Community Services and is the Executive Director for the Jewish Federation of Madison. He was born in Jersey City, New Jersey, and now lives on Greenway Boulevard in Middleton with his wife, Orly. They have 2 adult children and 3 grandchildren. Alan holds a bachelor's degree from Connecticut College and a master's degree in social work from Yeshiva University. He's a graduate of the Executive Development Program of the Jewish Federations of North America, and he is also a licensed transition life coach. We have a transitions fellowship here. Yeah. He enjoys photography and travel and defines himself as a museum and movie junkie. I'm sure you have lots of fans in this club. All right, please standing. And will Aaron Mullins, will you please stand with your sponsor, Valerie Rank. Aaron has been loaned the classification of Community Services and is Advancement Director of Habitat for Humanity of Dane County. He was born in Manitowoc and came to Madison in 2014. He and his wife, Erica, live on Lansing Street in Madison. Aaron holds a bachelor's degree from UW-Stevens Point and is currently enrolled in a philanthropy and development program at St. Mary's University in Minnesota. Downhill skiing, biking, boating, tennis, I'm a fan, and golf are among his favorite pastimes. And last but not least, Vance Vaughn, would you please stand? Vaughn Vance, pardon me. The president messes up the names. Did he hear about that? Proof is in the pudding. His sponsor is Charles McLymans, who's not here to be with us, and so Bob Dindorf is filling in for him. Thank you, Bob. Vaughn has been loaned the classification of insurance and is president and CEO of New Gen WEA Trust. He is originally from La Crosse and now makes his home on Charleston Drive in Fitchburg. Vaughn has 1 son, and he earned his bachelor's degree in political science from Cole College, magna cum laude, and he holds a master's degree in public affairs and public administration and a Juris Doctor's degree from UW-Madison. He is a member of the Wisconsin Association of Health Plans. Vaughn serves on the board of directors for the Wisconsin Alliance for Excellent Schools and for Friends of Diabetes Research. He enjoys movies, trap shooting, and live music. Rotarians, please join me in welcoming our new members. Thank you. We hold our annual campaign for the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International during the month of May. And today, we will be celebrating the success of that campaign. Mary Donahue, who chaired the campaign this past May, is coming up to give us a few highlights. Mary?
Thank you, President Teresa. Ladies, can you relate? Oh, yeah. Is this not the worst thing ever? I'm so glad to take it off for a second. On, off, on, off. So in May, we got to have a little bit of fun. I got to come up here a few times and make some bad jokes about my outfits or how they fit or what was new and what wasn't, and some very bad COVID jokes. But we ran the Rotary International Foundation Annual Fund Drive, and it was very successful. This is one of the 4 priorities of the giving for our members, and not to be confused with our local annual drive that begins in November and raise money primarily for projects in Madison. I think we have a slide that gives us some of the highlights from this year's Rotary International Fund Drive. We raised $50,164. This means that we raised more than the required $100 per member in order to qualify for matching dollars from the Rotary District and from Rotary International. And thank you very much for making that a possibility. 186 members gave a gift to the campaign, with 175 contributing at least $100 to take advantage of receiving matching points toward a Paul Harris Fellow. And 75 members achieved a Paul Harris Fellow level of them, with 8 of them being new Paul Harris Fellows. Now 58% of our membership are Paul Harris Fellows. For those of you who may be new to Rotary, when giving to the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International totals of at least $1,000, one can become a Paul Harris Fellow, named after the founder of Rotary. Individuals receive a special pin to recognize this giving level and to assist International Foundation in providing support to its many worthy international projects and programs. And I know a lot of time that I got up here during May and I was goofy and just trying to lighten the mood. When I try to say something serious, then people kind of look at me funny, like really, Mayor? Like, really? Do you really mean that? And I really mean this when I say with all sincerity how proud I am to be a member of this club and the kind of outpouring of giving that happened during this campaign to raise for international projects. We've all experienced what compassion fatigue has felt like over the last 18 months, close to 2 years now. We've all gotten used to taking the masks on and taking the masks back off, and we watch the news and we see what's happening with Ida. We see what's happening in our own community. But international projects in this foundation is one of the many opportunities that Rotary gives us to really extend service beyond self, because it's beyond our own city, beyond our own county, beyond our own borders, and it is one of the greatest pieces of expressing our own humanity to care for people that we will never know. So I'm deeply grateful and very touched with the kind of performance that this club has offered for this last year. So thank you for that. I do also want to point out that at your tables today, we have a handout that lists the Paul Harris Fellows and the ones who achieved a new level during the May campaign. Would all of the members who achieved either a new or additional Paul Harris Fellow during the campaign please stand? I'd also ask that other members who made a contribution during this year's campaign stand as well. I'd like to thank them all for their generosity. Again, I'd like to thank the members who offered matching points towards Paul Harris Fellows. It was clearly a great incentive. For members who are receiving your Paul Harris Fellow today, we'll have an envelope out in the hallway as you leave today's meeting. And until next year, when we come back with the next campaign, I'm going to retire all the bad jokes about all of my outfits. So thank you in all sincerity.
Thank you, Mary. Past President Andrea Kaminsky chairs our classification committee, and she talked to us a few weeks ago about our membership criteria and the process used if you'd like to propose a new member for our club. Today, she's going to come back up to the podium and tell us more about the classification system that we use.
Thank you, President Teresa, and I am happy to be here to talk about one of the wonkier things that we can talk about in Rotary. And, many of you may not realize that our Rotary Club membership is based on a classification system. And each of us, upon joining Rotary, is assigned a classification that describes the main activity of our professional or community work or of our organization. And the diversity in classifications is really what makes our club unique, what makes Rotary unique, and we can have up to 10% of our club's membership, of our active members, in any one of the 10 bigger classifications. Our total membership is about 415 currently, and welcome to the new members. We're happy to have you on. But that means that we can have up to 41 members in each of the 10 classifications. Now, this limits us as individual members this limit helps us as individual members to connect with community leaders outside of our own professions. One of the recommendations from last year's membership task force was to review our club's classification system and select 5 underrepresented classifications to focus on in our recruitment efforts this year. This will result in a more targeted approach of seeking members in occupations and professions that are underrepresented. And without this kind of strategic approach, what we have been finding is that we're getting close to or at capacity in a number of our classifications. And on the screen is a listing of our current classifications and subclasses and the numbers of members in each. Now, I don't expect you to analyze this data or maybe even to be able to see the numbers and things, but but I can tell you it's all it's in right in here in our membership roster. And I can tell you that community services, consulting, and law all have more than 30 members represented in those classifications. In fact, community services may be at capacity within the next few weeks. And so for that, a waiting list goes into effect. And that way we can continue to bring in leaders from that sector, but not exceed the diversity requirement. To help us connect to leaders in the community in areas where we have fewer members, we're asking you to consider the following classifications that are the focus for this year's recruitment efforts. 1, the field of advertising, publicity, and public relations. 2, religion. 3, financial institutions. 4, health services, including health centers, hospitals, and insurance companies. And the 5th is science and technology. So if you have a work colleague, a friend, or a family member in one of those 5 areas and you think they'd make a great Rotarian, consider inviting them to lunch, to one of our meetings, and to see if they have an interest in our Rotary Club. The main reason that a leader in our community is not in our club is because we haven't asked. We haven't invited them, and we need to do that. So let's get connected to new Rotarians, especially those in the 5 areas I've noted. A new online membership proposal form and other membership information are on the club's website and can be shared with potential members you may know. You can contact me or the Rotary office if you have any questions. Thanks.
We'll make it work, right? Mary said, take it on, take it off. The mask. Thank you, Andrea. We'll have a summary of past President Andrea's report on our website and in the Rotary News so that you can reference that if you have someone in mind that you'd like to join our club. I have a few people. Yeah. All right. A reminder that our October 1st is the deadline for nominations for this year's Manfred Swarzynski Award for Humanitarian Service. So we have nomination forms at the button box table if you have and need some details, or in the September Rotary News that will come out this Friday. Birthdays. Who's excited about that? I am. We have birthdays to celebrate with a bit of humor or wisdom that complements our Rotary mission. So we also encourage members to make an age-appropriate gift to the Madison Rotary Foundation, rounded up to $100 for our club's Synergy Scholarship Fund. I have some information about that today. And for those of you who attended the President's coffee this morning and the President wasn't there, thank you for coming. My apologies. All right. Birthdays. If you are in the room, please stand so that we may celebrate you. August 29th, John Braden. August 30th, past President Melanie Ramey, who shares, greetings from the land of the midnight sun. My birthday gift to myself this year is a trip to Iceland to celebrate it with my Icelandic friend of 62 years. There is nothing better than old friends, birthday cake, and good wine. It's a smart lady. August 30th as well, Mike Striegel. August 31st, Anthony Gray. September 1st, Rena Chandra Rajpal. September 2nd, Teresa Holmes. That's me. And I have a few things to say, thoughts. First of all, under what I call freedom, rights, equality, and justice. The only way to get equality is for two people to get the same thing at the same time, at the same place. Thurgood Marshall said that. As well, I am a strong Black woman. I cannot be intimidated, and I'm not going anywhere. I will continue to bring you joy, exceedingly abundantly and full of glory. Maxine Waters said the first part, and Teresa Holmes said the second part. September 3rd, Virginia Bartelt. September 4th, Jenny Sereno. And my part of the quote came, or the parts that weren't my part of the quote came from Essential Books of Black Wisdom, or the Book of Essential Black Wisdom. All right, thanks to our celebrants for their contributions to the Madison Rotary Foundation. Please join me in wishing us all happy birthday, right? Dick Lovell is coming back to the podium, and we're going to join him as best we can with the modified version of the birthday song. Thank you, Dick.
All right, here we go. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday, Rotarians. All right, happy birthday.
I don't have to take my mask off to smile and laugh. Thank you, Dick and Casey. And it is one of my favorite songs. All right, members in the news. We have a few members in the news from this past week. Emily Grunwald and Joe Loanis, Catherine Smith, and Jonathan Solari were all quoted in an article about how the current mask mandate is affecting the return to life of live stage performances. WKOW TV, August 24th. And their general manager will be attending one of our lunches in the near future. Lynn Sexton was quoted in an article about a grace requiring COVID-19 vaccinations for its employees. Wisconsin State Journal, August 25th. All right, on to our favorite part of the program, our speaker. And I'm happy to introduce Karen Hebert, our Rotary District 6250 governor, who is here to inspire us today. Karen grew up in Green Bay, received her undergraduate and graduate degrees in business administration from UW-Eau Claire, and she is an employer benefits broker. In this position, she helps employers design, finance, and manage benefit programs that work to attract and support their valuable employees. Karen joined the Eau Claire Rotary Club in 1989 and was a member of the Chippewa Falls Rotary Club, where she served as their club's executive secretary for 6 years. And she is now a member of the Chippewa Valley After Hours Rotary Club. Karen loves Rotary, but has not drank the Kool-Aid. And we are looking forward to hearing her presentation. I as well am enjoying my time getting to know her and developing a Rotary and beyond friendship. We have made a contribution to the Rotary International Polio Plus Fund as a way to say thank you, Karen, for speaking to us today. If you have questions, as I will mention, after she's done speaking, we will, as time allows, we will allow that, but just remember the person who's holding the microphone holds the microphone, you ask the questions, all right? So with that, let's welcome Karen to our podium.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tress and I had dinner last night. I bought her a birthday dinner, and she was going to talk about how much I love Rotary, which I do. And I said, you could add, and it's not the Kool-Aid. So I have drunk the Kool-Aid, but the reason I love Rotary is not the Kool-Aid. It's because I am an intelligent, thoughtful human being. And I think Rotary is just one of the best things that's on the planet. So it's really a pleasure to be here with you today. Every once in a while, for those of us that have been a member of Rotary for quite some time, but who's counting, you get a little flashback. And today my flashback was that I once served as the pianist for the Eau Claire Noon Rotary Club, and then we went a cappella. Anyway. Teresa mentioned that I served as our club executive secretary for 6 years, and I have a very special place in my heart for the people behind the scenes. I've given your behind the scenes staff, and if some of you serve as treasurer or people working behind the scenes, we are people of action, and we never take pictures of secretaries and treasurers performing their very important backbone work. So, deep appreciation to all of you. Yes. What an honor and opportunity it is to be a Rotarian. To be politically, psychologically, and even spiritually open to serve. And it is my distinct pleasure to serve alongside of you, Madison Downtown. Oops, clicker. Got it. Today, let's consider ourselves as individuals engaged in serving for lasting change, and consider ourselves together engaged in serving for lasting change. Rotarian, is your self fully open to service? Is your reason for participating in Rotary in harmony with Rotary's mission to provide service to others, promote integrity, advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace? Does your voice resonate with these statements? I value fellowship. I value leadership. I value integrity. I value diversity. I value service. The extent to which we as individuals harmonize with mission and values is the only measure to which we are Rotarian. The service, what we give, and the action we take will be the natural consequence of our living this. And the nature of it will be joyful, powerful, meaningful, and enduring. Rotarians, be empowered. I have 2 invitations for you from President Shekhar Mehta, our Rotary International President. But before I introduce them, did any of you see Phil Mickelson win the PGA Championship this summer? Any of you listen? He and his caddy, who's a relatively new caddy, his brother, anybody listen to what his caddy said to him right before he took a shot? So they conferenced together. He said, one word: commit. The reason why so many of us love Phil is because he's a very human golfer. He melts down. But when he believes in himself as a champion, thinks about his shot, and then commits to it, he plays like a champion. And what he did, no one else has ever done. He won the PGA Championship at age 50 plus, because that's old. For you, 100% depends on your perspective, yeah. For you and for me, the extent to which we believe in ourselves as Rotarians and commit to service is the extent to which we serve like champions. Rotarians, I just want to be your caddy. First invitation, each one bring one. Now, we've been down this road before, and I'm a leader that wants us to be fully engaged in outcomes, but not driving toward them. The service, the joy in serving, is taking the action that's at the sweet spot for each one of us. So we're not going to think in terms of doubling the size of 6250, though we could if each one of us brought one. But rather, the idea that we're all able and invited and will enjoy extending Rotary life to others. Every level of service differs, and every level of service is equally meaningful. What matters is it's the right level of service for you. It's not overstretching or self-protecting and miserly, but that it's at that sweet spot, that it's honest for you and a true reflection of you as a Rotarian living our mission and values. None of us know whether or not, especially not here in Madison, who you greet warmly as a visitor, if they might be the next big thing in Rotary Global Grants. We don't know that. And if you give some sort of extra service and start a new Interact Club or a new Rotaract Club or a new Madison Club, what that will mean to Rotary. The key is that the service comes from your joy of Rotary and the vision that you have as an individual and expressing your Rotary life. When we do that, when you do that, when I do that, We light up Rotary, and Rotary lights us up. It's a virtuous cycle. I am standing and speaking after Mary and after all of you responded to Mary, so please understand that my invitation for you to give to the Rotary Foundation is not because I don't think you're doing enough. Some of you might be overstretching, and we don't want that. But we definitely want everybody to be participating. The Rotary Foundation has a great problem. We have far more global grants and an increasingly excellent set of global grants than we have money. So the trustees of the Rotary Foundation have had to make a decision that this year they're giving 80 cents on a dollar instead of a dollar for dollar match. Your district will still be matching, our district will still be matching dollar for dollar. The trustees decided to do that because they didn't want a rush as like first come, first served before it runs out. Well, that problem we can solve. Secondly, there is a high probability that we will declare an end to polio in 2026. If you haven't participated, thank you, by the way, so much for giving to polio. That's right up my alley this year on my behalf. If you haven't participated yet, participate at whatever level makes sense to you. But when we declare an end to polio, which we will do, if it's not 2026, it'll be someday, you'll want to know that you were a part of it. Plus, every dollar that you give becomes 3 thanks to the Bill and Melinda Gates, or the Gates Foundation. Match. Again, every level of service is meaningful. There is no level of service that is more meaningful than another. Size differs, meaning never does. And as you give true to your Rotarian mission and values, you will grow, and your passion and the joy of Rotary fellowship and service will grow in you. So do what's right for you. $100 a year, that every Rotarian every year. Thank you so much for all of your generous responses to the foundation work. But some of you might not know, we have some people who are giving at an Arch Clump Society level, $250,000, and that is right for them. That is an accurate expression of how much they enjoy their Rotary life. You can put Rotary in your will for $10,000 and become a Bequest Society member. For some of you, putting Rotary in your will for $1 million will be just the sweet spot to express what you think of Rotary and what it's given to you. Again, it's a virtuous cycle. Don't hold back and don't overstretch. Find your sweet spot to express what Rotary means to you. Our Rotary Vision is not an individual one. It's not even an only collectively Rotary one. Together we see a world where people unite. 105 years ago in New York City, 2,000 people perished, infected with a polio virus, and another 6,000 were paralyzed. The world woke up. 84 years ago, the artificial lung was invented to speak to the most serious symptom of polio, the inability to breathe. 53 years ago, Dr. Sabin invented the oral polio vaccine. And 42 years ago, Rotary stepped in. We made a global grant promising to immunize every child in the Philippines against polio. 36 years ago, Rotary made a promise to all the world's children that we would eradicate polio. Sorry. I'm trying to go backwards. Oh, here we go. And then 33 years ago, 3 years after we made that promise, the World Health Organization joined us, and we created the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. 27 years ago, the Americas were declared polio-free. 21 years ago, the Western Pacific was declared polio-free. 7 years ago, Southeast Asia was declared polio-free. And 1 year ago, Africa was declared polio-free. Nigeria was the country that had was endemic with the wild polio virus. This year, 2021, we've had 2 cases, one in Afghanistan and one in Pakistan. And last year, we had a little bit of a picture, thanks to the global pandemic, of what would happen if we didn't finish. 200 cases reported. So we definitely want to finish. And what finishing means is a continuous effort on vaccinations, people risking their lives in partnership with us to vaccinate children against polio. And a continuous effort of testing, primarily fecal matter, for the wild polio virus. When there's been no evidence for 3 years, the country and the continent can be declared polio-free. So that's why 2026 is a reasonable expectation. The Global Polio Eradication Initiative is optimistic, not ridiculously so, that vaccination efforts can continue in Afghanistan, and we all will hope that's true. Polio Plus has brought lasting change that reaches far beyond the eradication of polio. And simultaneously, our Rotary's reputation as a global network of trusted local leaders has grown. We've served together, and it together has been a virtuous cycle for us. Our reputation has grown, and we're able to do more and more in global granting in the world. Rotarian, be collaborative. Collaborate with Rotary's action plan. In projects big and small, root your plans here. It will attract energy and focus and ideas in ways that you don't expect. Collaborate with your district leaders. And by the way, Madison, you are generous in so many ways. I was thinking about you collectively as a group. Generosity never asks the second four-way test question. Generosity never asks, is it fair? What you give your district, what you give the Rotary Foundation, doesn't come back to you in a fair way. I have goosebumps from head to toe. Thank you for being you, and I hope that you enjoy your generosity. We're grateful to you. Participate in Rotary Days of Environmental Service. So I, together with the other 2 Wisconsin district governors, have decided to do a statewide, which includes the UP and our own 6250 Crescent of Minnesota, just beyond La Crosse, in Rotary Days of Service, because we enjoy our collaboration so much, and because our district conference will be a tri-con, meaning all of Wisconsin, the UP, and that little part of Minnesota will gather together for a district conference. We really like that, and that we'll be doing that on a go-forward basis. So that's the one thing. We enjoy our collaborations. Secondly, you might know that supporting the environment is our newest area of focus for the Rotary Foundation. So as of July 1st this year, we will be granting into environmental projects. Third, President Shekar asked us to have a day of service. You might remember a while ago, all of us had Rotary at Work t-shirts, bright yellow t-shirts. Well, we're doing something similar to that, but we're inviting you to participate, and your assistant governors have been planning things for the Madison area. No doubt your club and you as individuals are already involved in supporting our environment, but we want to focus, take lots of pictures, hashtag that baby, and then we'll celebrate together what Rotary can do. Please join us for Vibrant Club Workshop. District Governor nominee Michelle is leading that effort. Vibrant Club Workshop is a way for all Rotarians, and particularly Rotary Club leaders, to grow a little muscle, be encouraged, and be stimulated in your service and share ideas across the district. So that will be virtual. There'll be some watch parties in the area. So get to know your fellow Rotarians outside of the club and get to know Rotary. Thanks, Michelle. Join us for the grant management seminars. You probably no stranger to this, but our grant management seminars happen in the winter almost every year, and somebody must attend in order for you to get a district grant or participate in a global grant. But you know what? They're really, really great. I was a Rotarian for about 28 years before I attended my first one, and I had no idea. I thought that was just like a tip of the iceberg sort of moment, and then I found out that all kinds of clubs were getting district grants almost every single year. And so our club got involved right away, and we made a tiny house for the homeless in our area in Chippewa Falls. And then finally, please join us for TriCon. It's going to be at Elkhart Lake at the Osthoff. I would love to buy you a drink. It's a long drive for me and a lot of us in 6250, but because we're being collaborative and we want to, fully participate, we're willing to make the drive, and we'll make it worth your while. So please join us. The second half of our vision statement, lasting change. The story of polio eradication is certainly an amazing story of lasting change. Can you imagine that one day we'll look back and know that Rotary was so instrumental in eradicating polio? But it's also the story of every Rotary lasting change. Growth, health, restoration, invention, building, all begins with the idea that something could be different, that somehow we're here and we could be there. If we imagine the there, and more importantly, imagine the way through, not stimulated by what we want to see changed, but rather, how can we serve? To not have our will, as pretty and shiny as it might be, but rather Rotary mission, vision, and values at the center, we will be stimulated to be in service of change instead of pushing or pulling for change. And then we learn to assess intelligently, with curiosity and humility, and the change then is naturally lasting. It will be lasting. And let's not think so much in terms of winning and losing and success and failure as opposed to learning. So the outcome didn't go as we wanted. The well was abandoned. The leadership was controlling. The fundraiser didn't have a turnout. Cheap membership growth. They're just lessons. Let's learn from them. Rotarians, be innovative. Feel comfortable with risk. Feel comfortable with learning, and let go of the outcomes. Things might go 3 times better than you thought. A long time ago, I quit Rotary. I considered myself a pauper among princes. I didn't feel like I belonged. And I couldn't stay away. The mission of Rotary is my personal mission. There's nothing I love more than our area of focus of peace and conflict resolution. It really draws me. So I came back and I thought, I'll just play my part. Maybe it's a pauper's part, but I'll play my part. And then, according to that mission statement, that we have lasting change in our communities, our world, and in ourselves, Rotary changed me. And the lessons weren't easy, and they weren't quick. Just ask people that have served alongside me. I do believe they're lasting. So in the end, Rotarians, don't give up. Thank you. while the mic's going around and people are thinking about asking questions, you know, it's interesting. I feel like all clubs should say to me, what have you done for us lately? So here's what the district has done for you lately, because I'm very excited about this. I couldn't believe it was missing. We didn't have district, international service, and community service committees. So how would we ever draw ideas and share them without people at the district level doing that? The way that we did it was the occasional, if you would show up at district conference, that's when you would be in the room and maybe hear about ideas. So we've started both of those, and it's because we have the Community Service Committee led by La Crosse Downtown past president Andy Bockham that we can move into that space of the refugee help and relocation. So that's just one example. It's going to be baby steps, but we are dedicated to being of service to you that way. And then, of course, international service too. So, past District Governor Rob.
Hi, Karen. You mentioned that your attitude towards Rotary changed. Was there a single event that caused that change?
Right. So my attitude toward Rotary didn't change. What changed was my attitude toward myself and the sense of whether or not I belonged. And I'll tell you, what changed, I guess, was that I was willing to be humble enough to be myself in Rotary. Instead of feeling like I had to measure up, because honestly, the men at that time, I was the second woman invited into the Eau Claire Noon Club. The men with whom I was having breakfast, I was 29 years old, you know, and I thought it was pretty cool. But when I would spend time with them at the lunch table, I knew with whom I was lunching, not just by their role in the community, but the quality of the human beings they were. I felt small. And too small. And then I realized that that was actually an irresponsible conclusion, I have to say, that I was responsible for living my Rotary life. And I'm just so happy to be back. I love Rotary, and I love Rotarians. Karen, I wouldn't let you have the mic.
Sure. Thank you for making sure that we have international and community service committees. I can't announcement that our district for our exciting week of environmental service, October 4th through 10th.
The preview is that every club is invited into intentional environmental service, and one can only do one's part. And so I got on the phone with Karen immediately, respecting her so much for what she's done along the lines of environmental service and how key that is, and leaning in to this truth of what it means to care for our planet, despite plenty of hurdles and plenty of politicizing, which is, really difficult. We all know how that works with regard to health and thinking forward. So Karen gave me from her SRAG, Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group, for her point of view on who we could book as webinars. So we've had 4 webinars, 3 organized by me under Karen's leadership, and they've been diverse, and we have recordings. So if anybody wants to pick up on that before October 1st, we have Operation Pollination. Your district has officially joined Operation Pollination, a coordinated Rotary effort together with the National Park Service to make sure that pollinators, particularly monarchs, but pollinators of all kinds, have their oases that they need to make their migrations. The numbers are shocking on what we've lost. Second, an amazing program out of Maryland called Lunch Out of Landfills. They've had incredible success. It is a way, particularly for Interrex, to engage in very meaningful science and leadership. Not an easy project. Tomorrow, we're doing a noon seminar on data collection for a global initiative run out of the University of Georgia for trash along our waterways. And it turns out that Rotarians and others are active on either coast because it's trash into oceans that we care about most, plastics in particular. But they want Midwesterners. Why? Because of our access to rivers, which eventually will bring unwanted plastics into our oceans. And then there was a fourth one by the Water Commission. I didn't organize that. So what's the preview? Well, who knows? I'm hoping that our clubs will pick it up and act and have a great experience and let that moment, the invitation of a moment, bring them into environmental service. So maybe one more question. Oh, and by the way, I'm in no hurry, hardly any hurry, and so if you want to talk with me, I'll be right up here.
Thank you, Governor Karen, for your leadership and your enthusiasm. Very impressive and inspiring. I wanted to ask you, given the way you told the amazing story of our efforts in terms of polio.
Yes.
As we're in this world pandemic, as the United States had been leading in rate of vaccinations, and now other countries have gone beyond us per capita, and you look at how in our country it's become, unfortunately, political, and it's not always science-based. As we look at our polio efforts, any lessons you can see as we try to go forward to end this pandemic?
So it should come as no surprise that Rotary as an organization is pro-vaccine and we are in this together. And we won't become a barrier to anyone that wants to, so we want to always lead with understanding and compassion, even though it's really difficult, and even though there's no science. So there are clubs that are making efforts to cross political bridges of all kinds, and clubs that have established themselves as peace clubs all around the world. So who we are is consistent with our polio eradication aspects, and that we trust science, and we admire our global partners, and every Rotarian is free. So I hope that answers your question. We've had strong voices. There are blog posts and social media posts that you could share to get Rotary's position out. But of course, and we want it to be true, we want it to be an invitation into good living, but not a battle. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. We are adjourned, Rotarians.